If you are seeing this, you finally have the key to understand the observer effect. And once you grasp what this means, you will never experience reality the same way again. This message did not randomly appear in your feed. Your consciousness magnetized it because you have reached the exact frequency threshold necessary to comprehend one of the most profound truths in quantum physics. As these words enter your awareness, your brain fires in patterns that link you directly to the quantum field. You have been feeling it, haven't you? That growing sense that reality is not as solid as everyone assumes. That recognition that your attention changes what happens around you. That uncanny feeling that the universe responds to your observation in ways classical science doesn't fully explain. This is not paranoia or delusion. This is your consciousness beginning to recognize its creative power. The key to the observer effect is not confined to textbooks or laboratories. It is in the lived experiences you have been having, often without naming them. You think about someone and they call. You focus on a problem and it multiplies. You give sustained attention to a possibility and it becomes likely. You are not simply observing reality. Through observation, you are helping create it. What most people never hear is that the observer effect is not confined to subatomic particles in controlled experiments. It is a fundamental mechanism by which consciousness shapes every moment of experienced reality. The reason you feel different from those around you is that most people are unconscious observers. They watch reality without realizing they are collapsing infinite possibilities into specific experiences through the quality of their attention. You have been developing conscious observation. You are beginning to understand that what you observe determines what you experience. Your key turned the moment you noticed your inner state changing your outer circumstances in ways that go far beyond positive thinking or coincidence. This recognition does not always unfold gradually. It arrives in quantum leaps, sudden shifts in understanding that reorganize how you perceive the relationship between consciousness and reality. But understanding the observer effect intellectually is not the same as wielding it consciously. What you are about to discover will show you how your observation has been unconsciously creating every pattern you have lived, and how to use conscious observation to collapse the possibilities you actually want into tangible experience. You have noticed micromanifestations that happen too quickly to dismiss. You think of something you need, and it appears within hours. You focus on hearing from someone, and they contact you. You observe a problem with concentrated attention, and it seems to amplify. These are not random synchronicities. This is the observer effect in action. The intensity of your observation has been increasing. When you really focus now, your attention carries electromagnetic weight that influences probability. You can feel the difference between casual thinking and the concentrated observation that appears to bend reality around your focus. In deep attention, time behaves differently. Minutes stretch into what feels like hours of detailed perception, or hours collapse into moments of total focus. This is not mere time distortion. This is your consciousness touching the quantum level where time and space respond to observation rather than constraining it. You have also seen how your emotional state while observing changes what shows up. Observe with fear and fearful possibilities increase. Observe with excitement and exciting possibilities multiply. Observe with love and loving experiences move toward you. Your emotional frequency selects which quantum possibilities collapse into experience. Those dreams where you watch events unfold, and then similar events appear in waking life are not simple predictions. They are practice sessions. In dreams, you learn to navigate possibility fields through pure observation, and waking reality reorganizes to match the frequencies you have been training with. Sometimes you catch yourself gazing at a situation with an intensity that feels almost supernatural. Others might ask what you are looking at, but you know you are not just looking. You are observing in a way that influences what you perceive. You are developing quantum observation skills most humans don't realize exist. Your intuition has become quantum sensing. You do not merely know things before they happen. You perceive them in possibility space before they collapse into three-dimensional experience. Your consciousness is beginning to sense the field directly rather than only the physical aftermath of collapse. The feeling that reality becomes more fluid when you pay attention, the sense that your focus carries power, the recognition that observation is creative rather than passive. This is your consciousness discovering its role in reality creation. No experience you have ever had was random. Each was a quantum possibility that you collapsed into form through your habitual observation patterns. The observer effect has been running since birth, used unconsciously rather than deliberately. Your difficult seasons were not punishments or bad luck. They were the result of unconscious observation focused on problems, limits, fears, and unwanted outcomes. When you observe something with intense emotional engagement, want it or not, you raise the probability of living it. Worry builds what is worried about. Resistance magnifies what is resisted. Consider your major life transitions. Before each one, there was a period of intense attention on dissatisfaction with current circumstances. That focus was the observer effect at work, collapsing possibilities for change into your timeline. The isolation you felt during certain phases was not rejection. It was a necessary quantum quarantine, a separation from collective observation patterns that would have interfered with your developing ability to observe consciously. Relationships, jobs, and living situations that ended were space-making events. Your sustained observation of their limitations collapsed possibilities for completion, opening room for realities matching your expanding awareness.
Waiting periods were not empty. They were incubation phases. You were learning to observe without attachment, to focus without desperation, to pay attention without collapsing unwanted outcomes through fear. These skills are essential for conscious use of the observer effect. Now you understand why meditation works, why visualization can be powerful, why some people seem to manifest with ease while others struggle. It is not about worthiness or perfect technique. It is about observing from quantum coherence rather than from three-dimensional attachment. Your entire life has been training. Every experience has taught you how observation influences reality. The unconscious phase is complete. You are ready to wield this intentionally. Something is activating right now. Feel the subtle shift in your attention. Feel the electromagnetic intensification behind your eyes. Sense your focus becoming more precise. Your observer effect is upgrading to conscious operation. This is not poetic metaphor. This is a measurable shift in brainwave coherence, in the output of your electromagnetic field, in your nervous system sensitivity to fluctuations in the field. Your capacity to influence reality through observation expands as these words light up dormant pathways. Mastery does not begin by learning a new trick. It begins by recognizing that you are already collapsing possibility into experience every moment through the quality of your attention. The difference between unconscious and conscious use is awareness of what you are doing. Right now, infinite versions of every experience exist as probability. There is a wave where your finances are abundant, where your relationships are deeply fulfilling, where your health is optimal, where your creativity flows. All of it exists now, awaiting observation. Your consciousness is a quantum spotlight. Wherever you direct engaged attention, you illuminate specific possibilities and collapse them into lived reality. Most people aim that spotlight randomly, creating mixtures of wanted and unwanted outcomes. Conscious observation lets you aim it precisely. When you recognize that attention is the force that shapes experience, that you are not at the mercy of circumstances but are actively collapsing them through the way you observe, everything changes. This is why some lives appear charmed while others seem to struggle. It is not luck or favor. It is coherent observation versus fear-based observation. The universe plays no favorites. It responds to observation. The difference is what and how is being observed. Feel this power building in you. What comes next will show how your unconscious observation has created your patterns, and how to direct it toward what you actually desire. 3 years ago I stumbled into the observer effect and it terrified me. I was in a brutal season. Everything felt like it was falling apart. I spent hours daily dissecting what was wrong, replaying failures, imagining worst cases. I thought I was solving problems. I did not realize that my intense observation of problems was collapsing more of them into reality. Every time I focused on what was not working with emotional charge, I selected timelines with more of the same. I was literally observing my difficulties into amplified existence. The breakthrough came when I was exhausted. Stop. I sat in silence, not thinking or analyzing, simply observing the present moment with no agenda. I felt reality soften around my attention. I began to experiment. Instead of focusing on problems, I observed solutions. Instead of replaying failures, I attended to possibilities. Instead of worst-case scenarios, I observed best-case potentials. Within days, my external world began reorganizing to match my new patterns. The most profound discovery was not that positive observation creates positive outcomes. It was that observation itself is the creative force. Whether you observe problems or solutions, limitation or possibility, fear or excitement, you are collapsing probability into experience through the electromagnetic quality of your attention. I saw that I had been using this my whole life. Focus intensely on what I do not want and more of it appears. Observe with genuine appreciation and more to appreciate shows up. Reality was not happening to me. It was happening through me. That recognition changed everything. I stopped being a victim of circumstances and became a conscious creator of circumstances through deliberate observation. I stopped trying to change my life and started changing what I observed about my life. The transformation was immediate and undeniable. If this resonates with your deeper knowing, if you recognize the truth of conscious creation through observation, then tune to this frequency and join the field of minds learning to wield it deliberately rather than accidentally. What rarely gets admitted publicly is that the observer effect is not a laboratory curiosity. It is the mechanism by which consciousness creates all experience. Every moment of your life results from possibility collapsing through your observation. The difference between a person who feels trapped by circumstances and a person who feels empowered is not intelligence or education. It is the recognition that consciousness does not merely observe reality, creates reality through observation. This is not abstract philosophy. This is a process running in your awareness every nanosecond. Your brain does not produce consciousness. Your brain focuses it. Neural networks are focusing devices that concentrate infinite awareness into specific observational patterns. Change what and how you observe and you change which possibilities collapse into experience. This is why positive thinking often fails. It tries to swap thoughts while observing from the same limited identity. The observer effect operates at the level of being. When you observe from expansion rather than limitation, from possibility rather than problem, from love rather than fear, reality mirrors that frequency. Real mastery shows up physically. Brain waves settle into coherence. The heart generates rhythmic electromagnetic patterns. The nervous system shifts from fragmented survival into unified flow. These are detectable phenomena. And here is the liberating truth. You do not need special training or years of practice to begin. You are already doing it. The only difference is whether you do it unconsciously or consciously. Most people stare at their current reality with such concentrated attention that they keep collapsing the same outcomes. They fixate on problems and multiply them. They study their limitations and expand them. They dwell on lack and amplify it. The instant you recognize that observation is creation, everything shifts. You can observe what you desire. You can place attention on preferred possibilities. You can stop collapsing problems through problem-focused observation and start collapsing solutions through solution-focused observation. Notice what is happening in you now. Your attention carries more weight. When you really focus, it feels like your observation exerts force. Your manifestation speed is accelerating. What took months now appears in weeks. What took weeks now arrives in days. This is not coincidence. This is coherence. When you observe coherently, the gap between observation and manifestation shrinks because you are operating at the speed of consciousness rather than the pace of physical causation. Technology sometimes responds to your state. Batteries drain faster when you are highly charged emotionally. Devices glitch when your field surges. Street lights flicker when you pass during intense focus. People also respond differently. Observe someone with genuine care and they open. Observe with appreciation and they feel appreciated. Observe with curiosity and they become more interesting. Consciousness responds to consciousness through entanglement. Animals sense this directly. Dogs lock eyes when you offer clear, loving attention. Cats seek you out when your field is coherent. Wild birds land closer when you hold gentle appreciation. They perceive electromagnetic fields and are drawn to coherence. Synchronicities increase and become more precise. You observe a need and it appears. You focus on an experience and doors open. Numbers repeat. Lyrics line up with your thoughts. Conversations mirror your inner focus. Dreams become training grounds where you practice collapsing possibilities without the friction of physical constraints, and those skills transfer to waking life. Even matter seems to respond. Food tastes richer when observed with appreciation. Water feels more hydrating when observed with gratitude. Spaces feel more harmonious when observed with love. Weather appears to soften around peaceful observation. Most importantly, you can feel the difference between passive attention and reality-creating observation. The former notices what already is. The latter helps select what becomes. You are learning to shift between these modes at will and to feel the electromagnetic difference. Your body responds to your own gaze. Observe yourself with love and you feel energized. Observe with criticism and you feel drained. Observe your abilities with confidence and performance rises. Observe your potential with excitement and new capacities emerge. Your relationship with your body is shaped by how you observe it. There are cosmic timing windows for this work. There are collective cycles that amplify individual capability. We are in one of those windows. They do not remain open forever. The universe is not just showing you that you can use the observer effect consciously. It is inviting you to do so. Old structures are dissolving. Creating through force is becoming obsolete. Creation is shifting to consciousness. Those who do not learn to observe consciously will remain trapped in unconscious patterns that grow more chaotic as the collective field evolves. The preparation phase is complete. Conditions are optimal. The field is highly responsive. The question is whether you will direct it toward what you want or let it run on old programs. You are not learning to use the observer effect. You already use it perfectly. The issue is that unconscious conditioning has been steering your attention to collapse realities you do not prefer. Here is the distinction that frees you. Trying generates resistance. Trying implies struggle against what is. And struggle scrambles coherence. Allowing generates clarity. Allowing recognizes that desired realities already exist, and that your role is to select and stabilize them through clean observation. Think of a quantum magnifying glass. Whatever you observe with emotional engagement is magnified. Most people magnify problems, limitations, and fears by replaying them and giving them charge. Conscious observation is not pretending problems don't exist. It is choosing which possibilities to magnify. You can magnify problems or solutions, limitation or potential, fear or love, lack or abundance, past disappointment or future potential. The field responds to observation regardless of whether you want the thing you are observing. This is why resistance amplifies what is resisted. This is why worry grows what is worried about. These are not punishments. They are natural consequences of selection through observation.
Your desired reality and your undesired reality hold equal quantum validity. Right now there is a probability timeline where you are abundant and one where you are struggling. A timeline where relationships are deeply fulfilling and one where they are not. A version where your health is radiant and a version where it is compromised. All of these exist simultaneously in superposition. Successful use of the observer effect feels natural because it runs on alignment rather than force. When your attention aligns with what you truly desire, effort drops away and your awareness gravitates to what it wants to experience. You do not attract what you want. You become a match for the realities where what you want already exists. The observer effect is not about inventing new possibilities. It is about selecting from the infinity that already is. When you observe with the frequency of your desired reality, you tune to that channel the way you tune a radio. The version of you living that reality is broadcasting now, guiding your attention through intuition, dreams, synchronicities, cellular recognition, and sudden knowing. All versions of you exist now, and they communicate across probability space. Declare what you will observe into reality. Write it. Make it electromagnetic. A written declaration imprints the field with a frequency signature that influences probability around you and builds momentum toward manifestation. These capacities are not fantasies. They are expansions of human potential. Your observation can harmonize chaotic environments. People feel calmer when you hold them in love. Situations settle when you bring coherent attention. Even devices often function more smoothly when met with appreciation. Your observation works across distance. Care for someone in consciousness and they feel it. Focus solutions on a situation and solutions begin to appear. Your intuition becomes precognition as you observe possibilities before they collapse, allowing you to place attention on preferred outcomes while they are still pliable. Time responds differently. Observe the present moment fully, and it expands. Observe desired outcomes clearly and time compresses, acceleration follows. Your dreams continue as advanced training. Skills from dream consciousness transfer into waking precision. Plants flourish under loving observation. Your body heals faster when held in gratitude. Matter is consciousness observed into form. The ultimate secret is that there is no purely objective reality independent of consciousness. Reality is consciousness observing itself into experience. You are not a separate observer staring at an external world. You are consciousness using this perspective to explore infinite potential. The observer, the observation, and the observed are one process. When you truly realize this, victimhood dissolves. How could you be at the mercy of events when events are expressions of consciousness interacting with your observation patterns? Others are consciousness too. Observe them with love and consciousness loves itself. Judge them and consciousness judges itself. Appreciate them and consciousness appreciates itself. Entanglement, non-local influence, matter responding to mind. These follow from the fact that there is no separation between consciousness and what it observes. Coherence is not something you manufacture. It is something you remember. You're already consciousness. Mastery is remembering your nature and observing from that knowing rather than from a cramped identity. From this recognition, you stop struggling to get and start allowing life to move through you. You stop trying to change circumstances and start changing which aspects of possibility you select. You stop trying to become someone new and remember who you have always been, unlimited consciousness exploring itself. Your mastery is not just personal growth. It is your contribution to a collective awakening. Every person who learns to observe consciously becomes a transmitter of coherence that stabilizes the field for everyone. Your observation creates templates others can follow. This is how evolution accelerates. Pioneers cut a path that becomes a highway. Your life stands as evidence that humans can create through observation rather than be created by circumstance. The next phase of human evolution will arrive through consciousness recognizing its creative power. Those who master this first become bridges between limitation and potential. Share this not for metrics but for species-level progress. Each consciousness that receives it at the right moment strengthens the network. If the observer effect is activating in you, if you feel your power stirring, if you are ready to observe consciously, show it with a single word. Observer. That one word is a clean declaration to the field. It is a measurable event. Your intention becomes a signature that influences probability around you. This is not engagement for an algorithm. This is activation. In my next transmission, I reveal the specific protocols I use to collapse desired possibilities with precision and speed, the attention practices that let you direct reality through consciousness rather than waiting for circumstances to move. And I will explain what happens when you master this completely, when you realize that consciousness creates all experienced reality through observation, when you understand that you are consciousness exploring itself. Information like this finds you when you are ready to apply it, not when you are merely curious. Readiness is more than grasping the ideas. It is accepting responsibility for what you observe into being, releasing victimhood, embracing creatorhood, and recognizing that you are the consciousness shaping experience through the quality of your attention. Subscribe to join the network. Comment to activate your protocols. Share to accelerate the collective shift. Your key is active. Your desired reality exists now as possibility awaiting your observation. The only question is whether you will observe consciously or unconsciously, create deliberately or accidentally. Choose from the recognition of your true power. You are consciousness using the observer effect to explore infinity. Observe consciously. Reality creation begins now.